You won't believe what happened in Judge Judy's courtroom today. A man sues his ex for $2,000. But it's not the case that shocked everyone. It's his new girlfriend's outrageous behavior that made headlines. One disrespectful comment, and boom, Judge Judy threw her out in front of a live audience. This courtroom meltdown went viral for all the right reasons. You've never seen justice served like this. Stick around because it only gets wilder from here.
The moment she opened her mouth, Judge Judy's face changed completely. The courtroom was packed, and tension hung heavy in the air. Everyone was waiting to see what would unfold. Judge Judy took her seat, as confident and commanding as ever. On one side of the courtroom stood David, a man in his early 30s with an intense look on his face. He was the one who had brought the case. By his side sat his current girlfriend, Kelsey, dressed in bold colors with flashy accessories, her expression a mix of boredom and smugness. Across from them stood Maria, David's ex-girlfriend, calm but visibly nervous. David had accused Maria of owing him $2,000, claiming she never paid him back after their breakup. He said the money was for rent, car repairs, groceries, essentials that he covered while they were dating. But Maria argued that the money was never a loan. According to her, it was something he gave willingly, as a partner, out of care and concern. She never once agreed to pay it back. The case was already messy, but things took a turn when Kelsey started whispering into David's ear while Maria was speaking. Judge Judy immediately noticed and gave her a sharp look, but Kelsey didn't stop. As Maria tried to explain her side, Kelsey rolled her eyes dramatically, then muttered under her breath, loud enough to be heard, "She's such a liar." That was it. Maria paused, clearly shaken, and Judge Judy slammed her hand on the bench. "Miss, do you want to be here today, or should I have you escorted out?" But Kelsey didn't seem fazed. She crossed her arms and shrugged. "I'm just saying the truth." That attitude, a dangerous move in Judge Judy's courtroom. She gave one final warning, locking eyes with Kelsey. "If you interrupt again, I will have you removed." But Kelsey didn't take it seriously, and that would be her biggest mistake.
Let me be very clear, you're not on trial, but you will be out of this courtroom in 1 second if you open your mouth again. Tension thickened. The room went quiet. Judge Judy leaned forward, eyes locked on Kelsey. Her voice was cold and stern. "Miss, I do not tolerate outbursts, and I certainly do not allow heckling in my courtroom. This is a place for facts, not high school drama." David tried to speak, attempting to explain that Kelsey was just being protective, but Judge Judy cut him off. "Sir, you may want to protect your girlfriend, but I am not here for personal drama. I am here for justice, and she is not a party in this case." Kelsey rolled her eyes again and muttered, "Whatever." That was her final mistake. Judge Judy's demeanor changed instantly. "That's it. Bailiff, get her out of here. I'm done." The courtroom gasped. The bailiff walked over to Kelsey and asked her to stand up. Kelsey protested, saying she had a right to be there. She even tried to argue with Judge Judy, but the judge was already looking at the next piece of evidence, ignoring her entirely. As the bailiff escorted Kelsey out, the entire room watched silently. Some were stunned, others smirked. One camera zoomed in on Maria's face. She wasn't smiling, but the relief was clear. Judge Judy addressed David again. "Now that the distraction is gone, let's get back to the facts." But David looked thrown off. His confidence, once so bold with Kelsey by his side, had crumbled. He shifted in his seat, avoided eye contact, and shuffled the papers he had brought as evidence. Judge Judy had made it clear this was her courtroom, and no one, especially not a disrespectful, new girlfriend, would break the rules.
That's your support system. Someone who can't stay quiet for 5 minutes. With Kelsey gone, all eyes turned to David. The atmosphere had shifted. Before, he seemed bold, even smug. Now, he looked alone and uncertain. Judge Judy asked David to walk through his version of the events. He claimed he and Maria had been in a serious relationship for over a year. During that time, he said, he had paid for her rent twice, helped fix her car, and sent her money when she was between jobs. He described these payments as loans money he had always expected to get back. Judge Judy, ever skeptical, asked for proof. David handed over a few printed text messages, but the messages weren't clear. One read, "Don't worry about it. I got you. Always here for you." Another said, "It's not a big deal. Just get back on your feet." Judge Judy read them out loud, slowly, then looked back at David. These messages sound like a supportive boyfriend, not a lender collecting debt, David stammered. "Yeah, but I made it clear she needed to pay me back." Judge Judy leaned in. "Where, in these messages, did she ever reply saying she would pay you back?" David looked down. "Not exactly." Judge Judy shook her head. "Sir, this court runs on evidence, not emotion. Right now, all I see is a man trying to turn heartbreak into a financial claim. That's not how this works." David's face turned red. He tried to recover, but it was too late. Judge Judy was already building a picture: a bitter ex-boyfriend, a disrespectful new girlfriend, and a case with no legal foundation.
I may have loved him once, but I don't owe him a single penny. Now it was Maria's turn to speak freely. With Kelsey gone and David stumbling, she finally found her voice. She started by saying, "I never thought I'd be in court over something like this." Maria explained her side clearly. She had been dating David at a low point in her life. She lost her job due to downsizing and struggled to find stability. David offered to help. He never once mentioned a loan. She said he made her feel cared for, supported. I asked him multiple times, "Are you sure?" And he always said, "Yes, you're my girl, I got you." She went on to say, "We broke up because of trust issues, not money. And when I moved on, suddenly he wanted everything back. That's not how relationships work." Judge Judy nodded. She asked Maria if she ever signed anything, wrote down a payment plan, or even texted about repaying the money. Maria answered confidently, "Never, because it wasn't a loan." Judge Judy agreed. "This isn't a business deal. This was a relationship. And just because you moved on faster than he expected doesn't make you legally responsible for his feelings." David looked frustrated. Maria remained calm. In that moment, the power shifted. She wasn't the nervous woman who had walked into court anymore. She stood strong, knowing she had done nothing wrong.
You don't get to throw a tantrum in court just because you didn't get closure. Judge Judy took a moment before delivering her verdict. She looked at David and said firmly, "You brought your girlfriend here. She disrespected this courtroom and embarrassed you. You brought your ex here, and she told the truth. What does that say about your judgment?" David had no response. Judge Judy continued, "Relationships end, and sometimes people regret the money they spent. But regret is not grounds for legal action. You gave her money as a boyfriend, not as a lender. There's no agreement, no repayment plan, and no case. Her ruling was final. Maria owed nothing. Case dismissed." The episode quickly became one of the most viewed segments of the year. Clips of Kelsey being removed from the courtroom spread all over TikTok and Instagram. Memes popped up. People were cheering for Judge Judy's no-nonsense attitude and Maria's grace under pressure. Some of the top video captions were, "When your girlfriend ruins your entire court case in 3 seconds. Judge Judy does not play around. Don't bring drama to court unless you want a reality check. As for David, he left the courtroom alone, with no money, no dignity, and no Kelsey.